James Lewis. We got Xbox in the building. So that's who's coming up next and can't wait to chat with James. He is in the
Dude.
lobby. What's up, James?
Oh man.
Xbox is
Hey,
in the
hey.
building.
Thanks so much for having me. Just a blast to be here. Ariel Knight, dude, that was so kind. Thanks for the kind words. I'm happy to be here. Red Infamy, so great to meet you. I was
Yes.
just checking out the last game, Slime Heroes, and I'm like, oh wow, this is amazing. Like Thomas did a wonderful job. I have no games to show, so I'm like, oh, I'm just here. I'm just a talking head. Uh, I hope this is going to be useful. My main goal today is to make sure that this is not my last time I get invited. So I am excited to be here.
No, but like no, real quick, like what I said before is like the sentiment of so many people, especially Black game developers. Everybody knows James, and like it's weird to like meet somebody for the first time and bring up your name, and they just have their own story of meeting you and how helpful and like kind you were to them. I'm sure Red has her questions, but just to like kind of start it off,
Oh, of
can
course.
you tell us just a bit about how you made it into the spot that you are in to kind of know everybody and kind of be that like connection between people from all over the world.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's very kind, man. I'm glad that people have nice things, more nice things to say than hopefully not so nice things. But I've been at Xbox for I'm closing in on 10 years now, and I've served in a number of roles. I've been fortunate, so I've been everything from a producer with XBLA to I spent some time as a producer on one of our first party projects, Project Spark. Then it was when I went over to our third party team and I was an account manager with ID at Xbox that I feel like my view of the industry just really exploded. And I started to meet and get inspired by so many awesome game developers across North America. And I was, I was just that. I was inspired. So my goal was to do everything I could to just, help, the titles and the partners that I had have success and and it really introduced them to opportunities that existed within Xbox, etc. It's kind of interesting because I was having my philosophy around how I was working with my partners is I was like, I was having a kid at the time, and we had like a midwife or doula. I'm blanking on what her name was, but I was like, hey, this is the person who, whenever we have a concern or a care about our baby, we call her. Whenever there's a kick or something that we don't know about, we call her and she reassures us what's going on. And I saw my role as an
But you
account
forgot her
manager
name.
working with my ID at Xbox partners. I know. But I saw my role as an account manager as doing the same for people who are creating. I mean, they're bringing their babies, they're bringing these things that they poured their passions, their
Exactly.
resources, their hearts into, and they were saying, "Hey, James, how do we have it? How do we help it have success on this platform? How do we ensure that we're going to be in good hands?" And so I took that role seriously of, hey, how can I help set them up for success? And then beyond that, I went over and I did some time in BD. I was on our first party BD team for a bit,
Okay, what's
where I had an
BD?
amazing time just bringing business development. Thank you. I get into these
Oh,
just
no, I
kind of,
generally
yeah.
didn't know. I wasn't asking for the audience. Whatever.
I love it.
At least
Yeah.
you
So business
stopped him because
development.
I was.
Yes.
They should know. See, I don't. I just don't know things.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you asked, man. Like, to break it down, like business development, like that's how a lot of the opportunities happen, and so there's a wonderful team that just kind of goes out and they're meeting with developers and they're saying, hey, you should be talking to this person, or hey, maybe this opportunity works for you. So just being on the business side of it, coming from production and development, it really exposed me to another side of the industry and kind of helped me to see, okay, well, here's how we need to position things, or here are the different opportunities that we should be seeking. So business development is important. It's so important. And so I had a wonderful time with our first party BD team, but now I'm back working with our independent developers, and specifically with the ID at Xbox program, with the focus on like my personal passion and focus is around how can I help diverse creators, make sure that they understand the opportunities that exist with ID and with Xbox. And so that's a passion area for me, and something I just wanted to,
Appreciate.
be able to chat about today. But
Look,
yeah.
look, James. I need you to like take breaths while you're talking because you said all of that without breathing, and I don't know how you did it. because you went
Oh, he
straight
did
through
it
like
in
a
a
whole three
big pun
paragraphs.
type of way. He did it in a big pun type of way. Like it was. So
Like
you probably
he
used to
was
rap.
selling,
He probably raps. He probably raps in
right?
his spare time.
Like
But
old
James,
school.
I feel left out because everybody has a great story and have met you. But I now finally get to meet you, which is so great, James. But I have a question for you in business development. So a lot of people that are very creative are frugal at times about their talent. Now, when you come and, and communication with any developers and you see they have a shyness to them, how do you kind of get them amped and pumped up about developing their game on a business standpoint? Like to just feed them the knowledge and let them know they're in good hands?
Yeah, that's a great question.
You
I mean,
lie.
I
No.
like, it was so interesting
That was a
because
bad joke. Sorry.
Tomas said it in the last segment where, it was just like confidence. While we're all looking, I mean, everybody's looking at the stream, it's like, this is a beautiful game. This looks awesome. But he talked about the confidence that he needed. And, and I think, I'll be honest, there are a lot of people who've been in this industry for years that may not look like, the people that are on the stream right now. They have a lot of confidence and everything that they bring up. So my advice is just have make sure that your passion, the why that you're doing it, shows up when you're presenting your information. Like you're it's not just the game that you're pitching, but it's also yourself. Like people want to know your story, they want to know about you, and the more of that you can talk about when you're talking about your game, and people can see that, like having a good story, like and it's your story. So whatever your story is, make sure that's showing up and how you present, because people are investing in you when they're talking about these business deals. It's your game, yes, but it's also you. And so they need to be bought into not just the game, but who is this person? Is this a great person, somebody that we can see ourselves partnering with? So make sure that you include that and how you talk, and have that confidence, because you have a wonderful story and it deserves to be told.
Dale, what you got
What?
to add?
I didn't even say
I
anything.
mean,
I
you're the
didn't. Oh,
game dev here. So,
oh,
like,
okay.
what do you have to add
I
some
thought
confidence back?
I thought you were commenting on the faces that I was making. Add to the confidence. No, because my fake confidence comes out and people like it. I do have a question for you, James. Who's your favorite developer to work with?
just a setup question. Wow,
It looked like
I
the
love
light
it. I love
shined brighter on you during that question.
it. Yeah, I love
Who,
it.
me?
I
Okay,
I
outside of Ariel Knight, outside of him.
Thank you for
Who's been
qualifying.
like
Thanks for. Oh wow, that's hard. I would say, man, I've worked with so many awesome people, and dude, Neil, meeting you and just seeing just how your game come out, and then seeing how hard it is. But I beat it. I beat it, and I almost called you when I beat it because so I was so excited that I made it through the last level, man. But just I really appreciate the journey. So it's really I there's so many developers. I think honestly, one that stands out in my mind just because it was a big moment. When I was an account manager, I worked with Studio MDHR. They're shipping Cuphead, and we worked hard to like figure out, hey, do we announce a date? And this is years and years ago. But this is at the time that E3, we actually put up the pre-order and said, hey, the game is coming. We had a date and the pre-order is going live. And like that moment, just really stood out to me as like, that was seeing someone's dream come to life in that way was just really awesome. And so I take that forward because I'm like, hey, there's so many other people out there that have these dreams and they have these and they put in their sweat and tears. And so I just get excited about helping people realize those dreams and more. And so that one stands out as like the goal, because I know we're going to see more people have that same moment, and I'm excited about that.
That's great to hear.
Sorry, we're
Now you stepping
future.
on me
Sorry,
now.
I'm stepping on you. We're gonna add a little bit of time. Just real quick, James. Like with like where you're at now, like what kind of changes or like what do you like to see going forward in the game industry, to kind of help promote some of these voices?
Yeah. Well, look, we have aspirations to reach like a lot of gamers. I mean, we want to reach billions of gamers. we can't do that by continuing to only work with the developers that we're working with now. We have to find more diversity in the development community, and we have to create opportunities for more developers to have a voice because they're going to welcome in new audiences. So I'm inspired and excited by like how we're going. What are the stories that we haven't seen? What are the genres that we haven't discovered? Who are the voices that we need to have in gaming right now? Like I'm really excited about that. So part of the work that I do, at Xbox is to seek out those voices, is to make sure that those voices know about the work that we're doing. So yeah, that's where I see the industry going. That's what I'm most excited about, is seeing how we can start to change this thing up and welcome more people into this thing we call gaming. But yeah.
Nice.
So Black at Xbox, I remember when the project first went up, the perception and reception of it. Now that hoodie you have on, I see the controller. It looks. I'm gonna need y'all to come
Yes.
out with. Y'all are known for the great custom controllers. I have one of mine right here. So it would be dope if y'all would come out with a Black at Xbox controller. That would be dope. I'm putting that out there. I want to be added when it happens, and y'all can send one over. But can you please let us know what Black at Xbox is all about and what the program initiates and represents?
Absolutely. I'm +1 on the controller. Thanks for mentioning that. I'll take that back for sure. Blacks at Xbox. I mean, it's an internal group. It's Black people who are at Xbox, and we found each other, and we said, I see you. How can we come together? How can we talk about, hey, what are some of the things that matters to us? So right now, our mission is to connect, uplift, and grow Black game developers and the Black gaming community. And so we do things that focus on, our internal employees and making sure that they feel safe and heard and seen. But we also try to do things in the community and make sure that we're helping to educate and inspire young people to move into gaming and to create, and also partnering with some other organizations to create space for the awesome work that they're doing and helping with sponsorships and a lot of that stuff. So that's what BAX is. That's, you can see the logo here, but yeah, it's Blacks at Xbox. It's just about us trying to be the change that we want to see in the industry and just do some positive stuff. But yeah.
Awesome. So for 2022, what's some initiatives you would love to see with both projects that you're a part of?
Oh, that's wonderful. I appreciate that question. So one is, we really have been thinking about, hopefully our conventions and things like that will be back on board, and then we can start talking about, hey, what do we do in person again, and hopefully seeing people in person. But we're talking about, getting in front of young people, making sure that young people see the wonderful faces that exist within Xbox and other companies, so that they can be inspired. When they see, Red Infamy, when they see Neil, people get inspired by that. And so we want to do our role to ensure that we're getting in front of young people and letting them know there's a lot of ways you can be in gaming. And you don't necessarily have to be a programmer or a designer, but you could be in BD, finance, legal. There are so many different ways that you can touch this world in gaming. So we want to continue to do that. But then, and that's from the BAX perspective. And then from the, from the work that I happen to do with ID, I want to continue to meet more people. I want to continue to, hear about the ideas that people have. If people don't know about the programs within Xbox or ID at Xbox, then I want to make sure we solve for that. I want to make sure that people, they are making a conscious choice, and so if they don't choose to come to the platform, great, but hopefully about the opportunities. And so part of my goal is to just make sure people understand the opportunities and have clear understanding. And so
Yeah, and just to add to that real quick, I think, there's a general, like James was saying, there's a general lack of knowledge of how many jobs is in the game industry that's outside of art and programming. There's so many spots for people. So if you want to be a part of the game industry, I would highly motivate you to kind of just look into that.
Yeah, no matter what you're studying at the moment. Indeed. So James, where can we find you besides at Xbox if you want that to be known?
Yes, sure. Yeah, of course. So, so I have a Twitter. I have you can be my 9th follower at Shownuff32 on Twitter.
That's your Twitter name too? I saw that in Discord, but I didn't know that was your Twitter name too. I thought that name was amazing. I saw that. I was like, Shownuff.
Oh no.
Man, I feel old. I got that
I should
reference. I
probably
feel
have
Captain
a
America.
I should probably have a more professional Twitter handle or name or
Nah,
whatever. I am
No,
Man,
no.
I'm Ariel Knight. Come on, it doesn't matter. No one cares.
Yeah, it's right in for me over here.
And
Like, no.
thank you for adding me into that. You know, you were talking about young people, and I was like, ugh. But you included me in that, so I appreciate that a lot because every time I ask my niece to do something with me, she rolls her eyes, and I feel old. So now I can take this clip and rub it in her face and
That's
be like,
right.
yeah,
That's
no one
right.
likes you.
You took it too far. No, I'm just messing. No, they either Twitter
jerk.
or LinkedIn. People can find me on LinkedIn as well. But yeah,
Dope.
reach out. I'm James Lewis on LinkedIn and Twitter again. That's Show Enough 32. But yeah, reach out. I'd love to connect and meet people. But thank you again just for having me. Like this is dope. Hopefully, I will be invited back. Hopefully I didn't mess it up too bad. But yeah.
No, that's Neil's job.
Yeah. See, I'm the one who's not gonna get invited back. You're fine.
I might get clipped too, but it's gonna be all right. It is gonna be all right. Thank you so
You're gonna
much,
get clipped by
James, for
association.
sharing.